Hello, my name's Ayesha and I'm a Cognitive Behavioural Psychotherapist, also known as a Cbt Therapist or sometimes a high intensity therapist. I practice a therapy known as Cbt, which stands for Cognitive Behavioural Therapy. So Cbt believes that our thoughts, feelings, physical sensations and behaviours all affect each other. Cbt hopes to identify where can we start to make little changes, in particular with unhelpful thinking patterns and behaviours, so things that people are doing or not doing, because the idea is that if we can make changes in one part, it will affect the rest of the experience of the person. And so CBT is very much a structured approach, but it's collaborative in nature, so the therapist aims to work with the client to develop a shared understanding of what's going on. So in particular, we want to identify the stuck patterns. So why do the problems keep persisting? Why is the person feeling stuck in what's going on and how they're feeling? So as part of that, we want to understand the maintenance of their current difficulty. And so we want to develop a little bit of a map to understand what's going on. And sometimes that includes looking at the development of what's happening, but also in particular what's happening right now that we can make changes for to help the person feel better. Quite often people engage in certain thinking styles or behaviours without even knowing that they're unhelpful, and they contribute to the way that they're feeling. For example, avoidance. Avoidance is really common. It can be avoidance of feelings, thoughts, or avoiding certain situations that make the person feel a certain way that they don't particularly like. So CBT wants to help the client understand this, and in particular help them understand this themselves. So the job of a CBT therapist is not to tell the client what's going on, but help them make these connections themselves so that they can identify this and then be more motivated to work on this. And a part of that is helping them understand the function of their behaviour, because quite often doing these certain things actually help the client feel better, but it's very short term. It gives them that sort of short term relief feeling in that moment and shortly after, but long term it actually maintains their problem and maintains the way that they're feeling. Another reason that's important why the therapist aims to help the client make these connections themselves is because CBT really wants to help the client to become independent in being able to manage their own well-being once therapy ends. And that's not just being able to teach them certain skills and ways to manage their thoughts and feelings, but also for them to identify their triggers and the consequences so that they can work on it themselves, being more in control of their well-being. CBT is very much a goal-driven approach, and what that really means is helping the client understand what they want to achieve out of therapy, how their life might be different if they were feeling better, really getting them in tune with their values, so basically what's important to them, what do they really want to work on, and once we can understand that, we can set some goals. CBT is also an action-driven therapy, and that's where what we call home tasks or homework comes in. And what that really is a chance for clients to practice certain skills and techniques learned in therapy in their daily life to see what they find helpful and maybe what they don't find helpful. And that helps the client and therapist both understand what's working, what's not working, and what else needs to be worked on in therapy. And that sometimes can also include gathering more information. For example, the therapist might give some diaries for the client to have. That could be a thought diary, so tracking certain thought processes throughout the week, or it could be trying a skill that's learned. CBT can be accessed through private therapists or the NHS. I currently work in the NHS in an IAPT service, which is a primary care service, and so we treat a variety of different disorders, and that can include depression and different anxiety disorders, for example, symptoms of post-traumatic stress, OCD, social anxiety, health anxiety, general anxiety. That's just to name a few. But I hope that that's been helpful in understanding what CBT is. But just to summarise, it's really about looking at what's happening in the client's life in the here and now that's contributing to their current difficulties, and where can we start to make little changes, helping the client take ownership of their well-being, learning skills and techniques to help them feel better, targeting their thought processes and behaviours to overall improve their experience in their life around how they're feeling. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you. Bye.